Hello, my dear friends. I am Dr. D.D. Sawant from Department of Geography, J.A.T. Art Science and Commerce College for Women, Malegaon District, Nashik. Today, I am going to deliver a lecture on planetary winds. As the general circulation of the atmosphere is known as the permanent wind system. The permanent wind, which is called as a planetary wind system, consists of number one, that is a trade winds. Second one, that is a anti-trade winds. Third one, that is a polar winds. These permanent winds are produced by global pressure distribution and pressure gradient. There are, however, some local winds, also known as named winds, which blow in narrow areas, means the localities, and influence the human health and their socio-economic activities. As a Coriolis occurs because the Earth rotates. Earth rotates about its axis every 24 hours. Distance around the equator is 25,000 miles. The Earth is traveling east at 1000 miles per hour. The Earth is traveling east at 8000 mph. The Coriolis effect results from the difference in velocity. In the northern hemisphere, the Coriolis effect deflects movement to the right. In the southern hemisphere, Coriolis effect deflects movement to the left. The combination of atmospheric cells and Coriolis effect lead to the wind belts. So the wind belts drive surface ocean circulation. As this most of the winds of this Coriolis law, if you see that Earth follow a generally curved path rather than a straight one. The main cause of the deflection of winds is the rotation of the Earth. It was established by Gaspard de Coriolis in 1844 that to an earth-bound observer, any object moving freely across the globe appears to curve slightly from its initial path. Hence, in the northern hemisphere, the curve is to the right, means in a clockwise direction, and from the expected path in the southern hemisphere to the left, which is anti-clockwise. To earth-bound observers, the deflection is very real. It is not caused by some mysterious force, and it is not an optical illusion or other tricks caused by the shape of the globe itself. The observed deflection is caused by the observer moving frame of reference on the spinning earth. So as the wind belts, you will see that how the belts are. As the trade winds are the surface winds of the Hadley cells as they move from the horse latitudes to the doldrums. In the northern hemisphere, they are the northeast trades, and in the southern hemisphere, the southeast trades. It may be mentioned again that winds are named by the direction from which they blow. A west wind blows from the west towards the east. Northeast winds blow from the northeast towards the southwest. So, hence, the trade winds blow with great regularity throughout the year over the oceans. They derive their name from the Latin trado, meaning constant direction, and has given rise to the phrase to blow trade, meaning to blow along a regular track. In continental interiors, they blow much less steadily than over the oceans, but are fairly regular over the eastern side of the oceans than over the western sides, where there is some interference from pressure disturbances on the windward shores. As a result, the eastern coastlines and offshore islands in the trade winds belt exhibit very arid conditions. For example, the Canary Islands, owing to the dryness of the air mass and the strong low level inversion of temperature, which prevents vertical cloud development. Conversely, on windward inversion of temperature means on the coastal region, the moisture laden air mass and the much weaker temperature inversion sees stronger than the conversion developed with accompanying rainstorms. So, the main function of the trade winds is to remove surplus heat from the subtropical high pressure belt by evaporating great quantities of heat from the tropical oceans, thereby helping to maintain the global heat balance as they return surplus air to the equatorial zone. With the seasonal change in the declination of the sun, the trade winds also move northward and southwards, their range averaging about 5 degree latitude. Although weather in the trade wind region is normally fine and quiet, tropical cyclones are often experienced here. In general, the average speed of trade winds varies between 16 and 30 km per hour, while calms are extremely rare and clear sunny conditions are usual. Hence, the between the two trade wind system is found what is known as the intratropical convergence zones (ITCZ). Part of it is occupied by an area of calms or light winds called as the doldrums. However, it has been recently discovered that in the summer in the northern hemisphere and especially over the continents, a zone of westerly winds intervenes between the trades which are called as the equatorial westerlies. So, as anti-trade winds or westerlies, if you see that the westerly winds which blow with great frequency and regularity in region lying on the poleward side of the subtropical high pressure areas or horse latitudes are known as anti-trade winds or westerlies. So, the area in which they blow are often known as the regions of the westerlies. The prevailing winds direction of the anti-trade winds in the northern hemisphere is from the southwest and in the southern hemisphere from the northwest. In winter, they move southward in the southern hemisphere, affecting the Mediterranean region and much of the horse latitudes, bringing winter rain to those areas. In summer, they move northward again between 40° north to the Arctic Circle and 35° south to the Antarctic Circle, means up to a degree or 66.5 degrees south and north. They, however, blow throughout the year. These winds derive their name from the prevailing direction. They blow opposite to the direction of trade winds and are thus known as the anti-trade winds. As a wind belts, those are that we have seen that the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, polar easterlies, westerlies, northeast trade winds. In the southern hemisphere, southeast trade winds, westerlies and polar easterlies that we have seen. The pressure and wind patterns, as there are basically three main winds belt in each hemisphere. Those are eight trade winds, westerly and easterlies. As trade winds that lie 30° north and south of the equator caused by movement of high pressure at the tropic towards low pressure at the equator, and hence they are deflected by the Coriolis effect to the right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere. Westerlies flow polewards from the high pressure tropical areas towards the mid latitudes. Again, they are deflected, and in easterlies, small belts of winds flow out from the poles from the east, then to the west in both hemisphere, and only in winter in the northern hemisphere. Thank you. Thank you very much.